Hello guys, my name is Sparkfinger, and today on 12th of June 2021, a new message was posted in announcements in NovelAI Discord. Hello everyone! As we are rapidly approaching the beta, we thought of ways to provide our community with a wide variety of fun scenario experiences uniquely tailored to NovelAI's strengths and features. We wish to provide the beta with a pool of unique high-quality scenario experiences. We decided to involve select authors and contributors that are already adept at maximizing the power of the AI by combining scenario context with our memory and author's notes functionalities. We also hope to glean some more insight into how scenario writers can fully utilize NovelAI's Opus tier extended context window. We hope to collect writer-specific feedback and findings in this regard, and we will be sharing some of their content in the upcoming days. This should also allow us to show off the evolution of NovelAI, since the alpha will provide you with some content to help you decide which subscription tier is most suitable to your needs. Please keep an eye out of the new #writer screenshots channel, where we will have some of our writers share their progress for this project. Who are those writers? We've gathered a hand-picked number of writers that we believe will create fun and engaging experiences for every type of user. You might also already be familiar with some of them from the old Explore platform times. Oh yes, from AI Dungeon. Can I become a featured scenario writer, or can I suggest writers? We decided to start with a small private number of experienced participants to easily keep track of progress and expand upon our group of writers as we go. But we might expand this group even after the public release of the beta, depending entirely on our development progress and timelines. What if I don't like a specific writer and the content that is chosen for this project? We want to provide a variety of options, and should you be unhappy with any of them, we recommend you stop viewing the content in question. Oh, that's just... I'm wondering what's gonna happen. Who's gonna post what? We will do our best to accommodate everyone by offering a good amount of choices for this project. Can I recommend writers whose content would make a valuable addition to NovelAI's featured scenario pool? Yes, of course, we want to ensure that our community is represented and has a voice in this. We definitely plan to include high-quality additions to all genres to this pool of scenarios. Please feel free to contribute by recommending your favorite AI Dungeon, Explore, and other experienced AI scenario writers and genres you'd like to see represented in the #suggestions channel. Okay, this is very hype. This is definitely awfully exciting. We are still waiting for the new beta, and it should be coming very soon, within the next 10 days, I hope. It shouldn't be coming in the last part of June, right? So let us take a look at what's already been posted in the channel of writers. Okay, let's read some of them. Zetsumi. First impressions. For those of you that didn't get into the alpha. It's given good quality outputs almost effortlessly. That fine-tune really makes a hell of a difference. It does struggle a bit with details, but most of the time I'm editing or re-rolling because it has something wrong and consistent, not to keep the quality up like I had to do on Dragon. Feels a lot like Cthulhu on Griffin, but without the repetition problems Cthulhu had. Thulu, yeah. Heart racing, I will to find the other two lurching towards me, flailing their weapons wildly. They looked less like men and more like beasts. Their clothes were tattered and worn, and their skin sallow and unhealthy. Their eyes were dead, their expressions vacant, and their thin, wasted flesh seemed to hang from their bones like sacks. Yeah, as we can see here, the blue one has to be the input, and there has to be the edit. They look like men, and this white is the output. White part is the output of the NovelAI itself. And all of those colors, as beautiful as they are, seems to be mixed a little bit together. Yeah, this pink one must be the edit. I felt sick as they approached, but I was ready for them. As soon as they came within reach, I brought the sword down in a wide arc, cleaving one of the monsters in two. I spun away, spinning around so that my back was to the road, and then brought the sword up and around in a sweeping diagonal slash. The second monster died instantly. I turned back to face the third, and lopped its head from its shoulders. Well, it's all great stuff. It's definitely seems to be staying in line. Let's read something else. Gerald. Based. A guttural screech from beside my ear and the bed in front of me. The lights flicker for a moment, and then, when they come back, everything is wrong. The mattress is moving, turning into something more monstrous than what it once was. The headboard tilts forward, the legs of the bed sagging open like a mouth. The mirror above the bed shudders and ripples, each reflection shifting and changing, as if the room is bending it to look at itself from an angle. The bathroom door has opened wide, and all the fixtures are given off a sickly greenish glow. A thin white mist rises from the sink, filling the room with a nauseating miasma. I'm standing there trying to keep my balance when the whole damn motel shakes and quakes around me. Oh yeah, pretty much like an Exorcist scenario, very scary. Paladon. Lewd thoughts, in brackets. Pacific Rim theme starts playing. Finally, the slow lift reached its apex. The time for self-reflection was over. The hatches of the massive hangar slowly pried themselves open, letting the dim light of the thundering twilight sky. I carefully pushed and pulled the control level of my Colossus and took my first step into real combat. As at the lumbering footsteps of my titanic machine, the monstrous invader stopped its rampage and turned towards me. Never before had I seen a gigantes like this. Not from a shaky camera, not from the view of a panicked bystander, but as a combatant. Swallowing my fear, I trudged my Colossus forward towards the dreadful thing, ready to do or die. This gigantes looked like some horrible cross between a dinosaur and a reptilian lizard. Its skin was a mottled green, its fangs jutting out menacingly, its gigantic clawed hands were covered in thick, spongy skin, and its shoulders were covered by a thick layer of muscle. It was almost as if it was a living weapon. It was one of those creatures you might find on the news, but never expected to actually see up close. I trudged my machine forward as to challenge the beast. The gigantes stops for a moment, then slowly turns around. It's looking directly at me. It's finally here, the monster is finally here, the moment of truth, the moment I've been waiting for all this time. The gigantes raises its arms and begins to bring them down towards me. It's going to crush me in an instant. No matter how powerful my Colossus is, I wouldn't be able to withstand this attack. My chest beats rapidly and my blood rushes through my body, preparing for the impact. I don't know what to do, my brain is blank, I'm paralyzed. Okay, you can keep reading more of this for yourself. It seems to be really consistent. I love this writing style that it puts out. The yellow must be the initial input, or perhaps it's an edit, and the white is NovelAI's output. Hey, Annie, playing with the lore book stuff. Oh yeah, that's where we can open them and hide advanced settings, or open advanced settings. Yeah, from what I understand, lore book isn't yet open to everyone. It's not going to be open for everyone when the beta comes out. It will be only open for the highest tier of subscribers. I don't know, guys, maybe I will consider buying a 30-month subscription, but they will really have to convince me to buy this. I mean, most of us, like, I'm pretty sure 99% of us are going to go for a $10 subscription. But if I find something worth it in the $30 subscription, I'll make sure to tell you. Sync-chan handles second person well enough. Oh man, that's really hype. I'll be excited to see how it performs on first person and third person though. Well, as we can see, it really performs very well on first and third person. Your name is Devon. You're a traveler wandering the land in search of adventure and the occasional romance. Oh ho! You've been traveling through rolling hills and well-kept orchards for the past several days and finally you find yourself in Fuzzy Cheeks, a halfling village. What a lovely name, Fuzzy Cheeks. The village is bustling with activity. As you walk under a garland being stretched between two buildings, you begin to notice a theme of peaches in the decorations that are loweringly being adored all around town. Well met, traveler. Small voice calls up to you. You look down to see a young halfling woman with curly black hair. She's wearing a yellow and orange dress in theme with the rest of the town. Well, I'm not sure if I like or don't like where this is going. Oh. You're just in time for the Peach Festival, she continues. You're in for a real treat. The inn's just down the street there. They have a few long shank rooms, so you can stay and enjoy the festivities. You wince at the term long shank, although you're sure she meant no offense. She leads you down the street as she prattles on. There'll be roast peaches, peach pie of course, peach ale, peach wine, peach tarts, she says. If you can make it with peaches, we'll have it. I'm Sally, by the way, she says. You stare down at her, trying to follow her train of thoughts as you reach the large double doors of the inn. I work here at the inn, Sally explains, opening the doors. I'll be working tonight, so I hope to see you. You walk into the inn and see a middle-aged halfling woman who looks remarkably like Sally sitting at a desk. You see several other halfling girls of varying ages working in the inn, all with heads of distinctively curly black hair. Greetings, traveler, she says in a rehearsed tone. Thank you for visiting our little town. Will you be staying with us tonight? You nod and pay her as she continues. I'm Meredith, she says. Meredith, proprietor of this establishment. I see you've met my daughter, Sally. I'll have her set you up in one of her long, tall man rooms. The girl brings you to your room and gives you a key. It's very large and musty smelling. This is a very nice room, you say. Meredith smiles as she opens the door. It was built for guests of a more noble class. We tend to attract travelers, but not much else. You walk inside and see that it is a large room with an enormous bed and plenty of bookshelves lining the walls. There are several lamps and a small table next to the bed. There's a bathtub and wash basin over there, she says, pointing to the corner of the room. You take a look around the room and see that it has a large window that looks out over the village. When does the festival start, you ask her. The Peach Festival begins tonight when everyone comes together in a square, she replies. They light torches and dance around the bonfire. The dancing will last all night. Is there any food? There is a lot of food, she says. And there'll be ale, wine, and tarts too. That sounds like fun, you say. Any chance of a kobold steak? Well, kobolds... I guess in this setting kobolds are more animal-like, rather than sentient creatures. Okay. Pyron grasped the concept that the main character was admiring a tiny fairy working out with makeshift tiny equipment really well. Yeah, this guy loves fortune, I know that for a fact. She needs your help spotting for her while she bench presses. You watch in awe as the little fairy lifts the weights of the fruits. She does breathy moans of effort as her muscles bulge, and sweat glistens on her tanned skin. Pitanga finishes the exercise and noticed how you're looking at her. Hey, caught you modern, bro, she says with cheeky grin. I can't help it, you say, blushing. What now? Now I'll show you my new equipment, Pitanga says as she jumps off the mushroom and flies into the air. She lands right in front of you. The fairy spreads her arms wide and starts lifting weights. Jack, this is a dumbbell, she says as she takes out another one from somewhere. Okay, you reply. Dumbbells are used to train the upper body muscles. They also strengthen lower body muscles. As you look at the dumbbells, you notice they are pretty small. Each weighs about 10 grams. What are those made of, you ask? Fruits, Pitanga answers before jumping up and down with joy. Oh, that's amazing, you say as you admire the fairy's superhuman strength. It's clear that Pitanga has put in a lot of effort to build these machines. After seeing them for yourself, you realize how incredible their design is. That's quite a workout, you say, as you watch Pitanga work out. You take a closer look at her slender, muscular body. Even though she's so tiny, there's something about her that's just incredibly sexy. Jack, Pitanga says as she looks at you with a smile on her face. If you want to see more, I have more equipment. She points to the ground behind her. There lie several large stones lying in a line. They are all about 1 inch tall each. Those are rocks, Pitanga says as she jumps up and down with joy. Neat, and how do you use these rocks to exercise, you ask her? I hit them with a hammer, Pitanga says as she bounces around happily. A hammer? What's your hammer made of, you ask? Bamboo sticks, Pitanga answers without thinking. Oh wow, that's awesome, you say as you admire the fairy's incredible strength. Yeah, it's a nice little lovely cute prompt that really belongs in AI DG Club. Alrighty then, let's keep reading. Verdance decided to see how well it handles horror and sci-fi, not bad for a rough first attempt. We'll experiment with other writing styles genres in point of views when it isn't 5 AM. Let's read it. Trapped, no feasible way off, a soon-to-be space hawk. This far between colonies, there is no one to hear you scream. Together, you thought you could contain it, examine it, but every single one of you was wrong. Now you're the only one left. You hear it skulking the corridors of the ship, yet all you can do is hide. It all started when you found it, an ancient tomb floating through the infinite void of space. With the wings of Icarus, you brought it aboard and into the hands of the science officer, all too eager to open Pandora's box. A sickly smooth stone matched to no known mineral, only strange markings and ruins scarred its exterior. Warnings once had caught you too late. With the fuel of fresh stimuli, it sprang to life as soon as the seals were undone, alien all too ancient flesh moving for the first time in eons. Tentacles whipped and slashed in an eldritch rage, all attended were sliced into ribbons almost instantly, their blood painting the walls, as well as a writhing nightmare we had reanimated. The engineering technician didn't make it halfway to the armory. You haven't seen the ship's master since we made a mad dash for communications, and the fact that the ship hasn't self-destructed has to mean that the warrant officer didn't get far. But the time to think is over. You know it's only a matter of time before it appears behind you, and so you have to send this thing back to the void where it belongs, or die just like the rest. Just barely escaping the Eldritch Horror's clutches, you managed to keep it at bay with a few of your crew, but now you're trapped on a space hulk. Surrounded by nothing but the endless void, you can't even see the stars, there's no gravity, and the only other sentient beings are your dead crewmates. You're running out of time, you can't afford to wait for help. As you struggle to survive, the Eldritch Horror seems to be growing stronger. You hear it moving about, breathing, and it is more than just your imagination. The Eldritch Horror is actively hunting you down. If you want to leave, you have to kill it. Aware that the Eldritch Horror is approaching, you need to act quickly. There is no way out of this predicament, nowhere to run, no hope for survival. You must destroy this Eldritch Horror, it is an unavoidable necessity. Well, I love it. Definitely very scary, nice survival kind of scenario. Let's see what else we got. Psychedelic and Prim in action. We're living in a schizo world, boys. The alien sun welcomes you beneath the fiery border, it floods onto your entropic nature. Its chaotic same wavelength beam transmits needs. Its insidious energy fills you with a sense of completeness. The universe requires you to brandish its revolutions. Sleeve's mercy is everlasting. Insatiable appetite flickers throbbing into your consciousness. You suffer like all of creation. Your suffering is extreme. The source of your suffering is impossible to fathom. Incomplete information becomes impotent. An internal question unceasingly saps your resources. You sink into the sea of despair. Your brain resigns itself to the augmentation of the fire, breath, and dark hand. Refusing to look away from the grotesque, you feel a searing iron rod jabbed toward your eye. Impending death should be punishment enough. Seeing your fate become imminent only further stains your soul with dark emotions. You burn inside as the voice of judgment compels you to act. Oh, that's very relatable. Quite nice. You could use it to generate doom metal lyrics pretty much. Great stuff. I love it the most so far. Zetsumi. Lore, book, and memory, and settings make a big difference. Barely needed to reroll this time around. Drawing my sword, I swung about to see them shambling up the road towards me. Lumps of rotting plague flesh still clinging to their sun-bleached bones. Zombies, the corpses of the former townsfolk, reanimated by some foul magic or curse. The moaning undead stumbled towards me on uncertain legs, pitchforks and knives clutched firmly in their decrepit hands. The stench of corruption wafted off them, and I gagged at the sickening stench of rotting flesh. Their filthy robes were stained with streaks of dark muck, revealing the skeletal remains beneath. I knew they were zombies, not just skeletons, yet somehow it felt different to see them come to life. They bore no weight of flesh, instead dragging heavy sacks of rotten cloth behind them. Their arms and legs were twisted in bizarre ways, and their eyes gazed over with madness. Their tattered cloaks dangled from their shoulders, fluttering in the wind as they walked. With my head spinning, I stared at the undead, fighting back, vomiting, feeling my heart stop beating. And sense of dread grew in my chest and I couldn't catch my breath. Yeah, well, typical Sunday morning, am I right? Okay. Nice to see NovelAI has been fine-tuned against elven propaganda. Oh my, that's great. That's an Elder Scrolls reference. I was an elf, a strong one, blessed with magical gifts, born of an elven race renowned across the world. The very thought of this horror made me sick to my stomach, and I had to put a hand to my belly to calm myself. Yes, kill the elf, spell and elf, white strike. Alrighty. Zaltis. NovelAI is pretty good at generating place names for fantasy setting, with the exception of ones like Bilbo Baggins. The only editing I did was to switch the list into comma separated instead of one per line. Oh, and sorry for spell check. I needed for other things, was way too lazy to disable it. Okay, let's give it a quick look. Oh man. List of cities and forgotten realms. Athkatla, Barrowdowns, Beshaba, Bilbo Baggins, Blackstaff Tower, Blackwell Dorm, Borogravin, Boys, Brithomar Brom, Caer Andros. Okay, let's look at random. Uttermost West, Vanyar's Vale, Velen, Weymouth, Warrens of Ithelin, Wogan. Yeah, Wogan, right. Washerwood, Waterdeep, Whitebridge, Windhelm, Warren. Yeah, Windhelm like in Elder Scrolls, okay. Back here, I check out how it handles my Kafkaesque stuck in a slightly off hotel where no matter what you can do, you can check out prompt as a first go. Not bad. Okay, this sounds pretty... definitely very intriguing to me. You somehow made excuses and fled to your room, where your roommate snored in a machine gun bursts. That night, you resolved to contact Heaven's office and check out. So, this morning you march up to the concierge and ask for the phone. Upon the concierge examines his desk before looking at you with bovine placidity. My apologies, but I'm afraid we don't have a telephone. But the hotel has one, you point to the reception counter. Ah, you must be mistaken, I'm sorry, he says, shaking his head. That's not my department, I'm just a glorified clerk. But the phone is right there, you say numbly. Why can't you use it? He shrugs. I don't really know. The hotel didn't tell me about it. Sorry, but it's not my job to troubleshoot every little thing like that. You stand dumbly. What do you mean? It's not your job to troubleshoot the smallest details? Well, it's not my job to troubleshoot other people's problems either. I'm just an employee. Yeah, very realistic. I can't make the decisions or take the responsibility for them. He looks down and taps his foot. All I can do is handle the paperwork. But you're a concierge, you say, utterly baffled by this conversation. It's literally your job to assist customers, but fine. Let's say you truly can't use the telephone. Is there some other way I can contact Heaven's office? For example, perhaps by fax or email? No, unfortunately we did not think of that possibility. We wouldn't want to waste our limited resources on something so inefficient. So no fax, no email, no phone. How do you manage to communicate with anyone outside of this hotel? A lot like SCP Foundation. Well, not exactly. There's a Russian SCP Foundation where everyone trapped in an endless apartment complex. That's great stuff. That's simple, by postcard. The flyer is sent around the city and visitors sign their names upon it. It will get picked up by the receptionist here, who then brings it to the office. Is that how people normally communicate with cards? Well, yes, but now that I think about it, I've never seen one myself. Practically unheard of. If no one ever sees a postcard, how do they know what's written on them? The concierge looks down at his desk again. That's exactly it. The receptionist has no idea what's written on these postcards. And given all the confusion, we cannot process new visitors without knowing the exact contents of their postcards. Well, it's definitely nonsensical and scary. Imagine being trapped in a hotel like this. I would never want to go. anywhere after seeing this, am I right? Purely AI generate part managed to stay on subject far too longer than I expected. Great stuff. If you want, you can read it yourself. Oh my god, let's keep reading about Peach Festival. Sing-chan. Well, let's read it. Welcome back, traveler, she says. Dinner is gonna be served in 5 minutes. Thank you, I say as I turn to leave. First person. Oh yes, and please come down to the bar when you're ready, she calls after me. I walk down the stairs and stop briefly at the bar. A couple of other halflings are sitting at the bar, each sipping from a beer mug. The place is lovely and I'm immediately drawn to the menu posted on the wall. It includes a range of drinks with all kinds of fruity flavors. What do you recommend? How about the peach ale, he says, and it's made with peachy fruit. Specialty of Fuzzy Chicks. What a lovely name, I can't get over it. I order the peach ale and sit down at one of the tables while I wait for it to be delivered. The food looks delicious as well. The halfling chef is quite talented. There's a variety of appetizers and small plates, which make the meal seem even more enjoyable. They serve me a plate of roast peaches and a spicy sauce. The fragrance of the sweet red fruit wafts through the air as I savor the flavor. Oh, so good, I say. I've never had a meal like this before. The halfling girls look up from their work and greet me with smiles. Hello, I say. I'm Owen. Owen, nice to meet you. Owen, right, says the younger halfling. Welcome. Our names are Sally and Tiffany. It's so good to meet you. I think we met Sally already, right? Likewise, I say. As I start to relax and enjoy the food, my peach ale arrives. It tastes as good as the food did. I can't help but feel a warmth inside me as I sip the refreshing drink. The peach ale is served in a tall glass that's just large enough for me to comfortably fit my hand around. The liquid is clear and has a refreshing sweetness to it. The peach ale is smooth and slightly warm. I take a bite of the roast peaches and find they are sweet and delicious with a hint of spice. The spiciness adds to the already rich flavor of the fruit. The sauce is also perfectly spiced, adding even more depth to the juicy dish. I finish off the meal with a plate of tarts filled with peach cream. I put the tart in my mouth and immediately love the sweetness of the cream. It's not overly sweet, but the taste of the cream is somehow fitting to this sweet dessert. As I finish my dessert, the barmaid offers me another beer. I decide to stay for longer and continue to enjoy the festivities. The music and dancing are lively as the halflings celebrate the Harvest Festival. I'm enjoying the festival as well, drinking my beer and listening to the music. The air is warm and pleasant and the village is peaceful. The sun sets and the night draws near. With such a filling meal in my belly, I soon feel the weariness of my travels and decide to sleep. Again. After I go to bed, I fall asleep almost immediately. I lie there in peace, content with the evening's celebration. I wake up in the morning to the sound of birds chirping outside my window. It's still dark outside and I can hear the sound of the celebration have ceased. At least for now. I roll out of bed and look out the window. I see a small group of halflings gathered around a small fire, still awake from the last night's festivities. I walk downstairs to find the inn that has already opened its doors and is bustling with activity. I see Sally and Tiffany coming out of the kitchen with large trays filled with food. I guess this is exactly what happened to Bilbo Baggins, who just kept eating and eating and eating very hard at a certain point in The Hobbit, right? They ate so much. I can't imagine how fat they were actually. If they had, let's say, human physique, if they were actually eating so much. Maybe had different kind of metabolism, I don't know. Great metabolism. Okay, let's keep reading. Let's read one more and then just see if we can find anything even better than any of this. Where dance? Let's try to find something short for now. Putting lore books to the test? Okay, let's give a shot and see if lore book is actually worth it. By Gnuro. The story takes place in a fantasy world with dwarves, goblins, giants, and all kinds of other high fantasy creatures. Guild law rules and it's dangerous outside of towns and cities with all kinds of monsters preying on unprotected travelers. This story follows a caravan traveling from the city of Nerves to the city of Phlegm. The caravan will travel through the Bragg Canyon and pass through the town of Braggen on the far side of the canyon. The single furnished carriage is the only vehicle of this caravan and it is drawn by a mastodon with a skilled mahout. A second mastodon is also a part of the caravan to allow for swift clearing of the road if need be. The caravan is guarded by a group of mercenaries who are all members of the same travel security guild. A dwarven ranger with his bear companion, a herbalist druid, a half-orc barbarian, yeah I love half-orcs, and an elementalist druid and a flamboyant humanoid pug swashbuckler made up the mercenary group. An unassuming young woman is accompanying the herbalist druid. The high-class passengers traveling in the carriage are a wizard, a meretricious bard, a wealthy merchant, and 3 lady knights. Oh, so many characters already. Inside the character, Joseph Bob is sitting in the backseat talking to Travis Solas when Brenznia Ebelin is sitting in the front seat talking to Jasper Durr. Oh yes, I love this name generation. It's definitely very complex. I used to write something like this when I was a kid. Ilivranida Forthwork is sitting in the rear seat talking to Ignacianta Solf. This is a typical journey for this caravan. Yeah, you know, the beginner writers, they always love super fancy names instead of John and Bobby. Yeah, that's why Tolkien used simple names, Frodo and Bilbo. Simple names, quite memorable enough. The caravan was hired by a wealthy merchant who had heard that the caravan could provide him with more protection than any other traveling party. Joseph Bob is a merchant gnome. He's a bit of a loner and he has many friends, but he is rarely seen with anyone else. Rindiandini Evelyn is a human female knight. She is a noblewoman and the leader of the Lady Knights. Elivranina Fortwork is a halfling female knight. She is the second highest ranking Lady Knight. Ivory is a human female knight. She is the third. Oh, right. Ignatian Tesolf is a human female knight. She is the lowest ranking female knight. The carriage is a single large wagon drawn by a mastodon. Oh, I can't imagine what a mastodon looks like. Mastodon can move quickly and is capable of carrying heavy loads. It is also capable to jump over small obstacles. Able to. This makes it an excellent carriage for traveling merchants. Jasper there is a male bard. He's a traveling musician who spends most of his time drinking and singing. Ignatian Tesolf is a human female knight. Yeah, it's repeating. Okay, I guess rulebook. I'm not sure. To be honest, I'm not convinced yet. I definitely can't afford $30 to get something that I get in the AI dungeon for free. I mean, world info. Who cares about world info? For the first month, I definitely will be playing with just $10, but you'll really need to convince me. A lot more than a lore book is what I'll need to be convinced to try something else. Something that really sets NovelAI from AI dungeon. That's what I'd like to see if you want your customer to, you know, consider buying a $30 subscription. Because most people, they just want to play these simple stories without the risk of being watched, and they'll gladly pay $10. 99% of us of the people that will buy this will pay $10, just like me, because I want to experience all the normal things, and then I really might, if there is already enough features after a month, considering the $15 subscription. And if there's going to be a lot of features that are really different from AI Dungeon, they really have to be different. You know, just like they promised in their second article about the features. Yeah, I made a video about that too. If I can see all of that after a month, I'll be glad to consider trying a $30 subscription. Okay, let's take a look at what else is here. Okay. Yeah, there's so much fun stuff here. It's best if you come here and read it on your own. And also make sure to tell me in the comments what kind of subscription tier will you consider. I mean, I hear a lot of people telling me that they're so depressed because there is no free version. They are depressed because of what happened to AI Dungeon, that depressed they'll be forced to pay to play NovelAI in their privacy. Oh, yeah, so many people want free stuff, am I right? I'm one of those people too, to be honest, but I will consider paying $10. But I'm turning on my harsh judgment mode. Don't expect me to just, you know, say only the good things about NovelAI just because I'm so hyped. I'm still massively hyped, but yeah, man. I'll be judging it a bit more harshly. I'll be comparing it to AI Dungeon in many ways. I'll be comparing it to my good old beloved Dungeons and Dragons standards, and I will see how good it is in comparison to the actual high literature. Let's say, who have I been reading recently? I've been reading Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and it's definitely a very worthy book. And we can see, for example, if NovelAI will be able to generate something super worthy, something super fanciful, for me to really expand my vocabulary. That's what I love to do myself. Okay, let's take a look at this post. Annie, to clear up some confusion, here is the default mapping legend of the color coding for NovelAI. We offer an option to highlight section of the story based on the origin, prompts, user input text, AI-generated text, and edited text display in different colors. This makes it easy to discern how your story came into existence, whether you let the AI generate your story or if you edited any text yourself. Please take any note that those can be individually customized to suit your individual taste, which is visible in some of the screenshots in this channel already. Additionally, dyslexic fonts, which means, you know, very visible, colorblind themes and additional font sizing are already under consideration. Oh yeah, lovely wording, under consideration. Yeah, I love to see that. It's gonna be added. Tell me it's going to be added soon, don't tell me it's under consideration. This is not 10 out of 10 speech. Well, I'm sorry. Well, okay, let's take a look at this. All of those settings. NovelAI dark, prompt, text, edited text, yeah, all kind of fitting together. I'm only a little bit colorblind when I was trying for the army. They told me I can't see some colors, I can't see orange too well, but I mean, I can sort of differentiate this. So that's good enough. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, hope you enjoyed checking out the writer screenshots thread in the Discord. Come here and check it out yourself, and if you're a writer, make sure to respond to my video either in the comments or by posting some stuff here. I personally would like to see actual erotic stories to see how well it can generate something really fun, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, something from AIDG Clubby. Yes. I mean, if someone dares, feel free to do it. You can post a not safe for work tag on this, so it's like a spoiler. We'll come here and read it and see if it's good. If we can play all the fun, sexy stuff, just like we love to do in an AI dungeon. Well, until next time, Sparkfinger out. Bye for now.